Hi, this is John, the producer of the Dani Johnson Show, and it's the beginning of the year, 2017, and a lot of people are setting New Year's resolutions and setting goals for the year. We here at the Dani Johnson Show, we want to support those resolutions and goals, so we've decided that all this week we are going to replay our best shows on goal setting, time management, vision, and really see what we could do to give you a boost and help you get some really solid success with those goals that you may have set. So I hope you enjoy the shows. I hope you learn as much from them as we did. And I hope you have a happy new year. All right. Bye-bye.
She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. I hope that today, so far, you're choosing to have an awesome day. Because you know what? You got to make that choice. Some people wake up and they choose to make it a cruddy day. Hopefully that's not the person you're sleeping next to, because that would be so lame, man. To wake up next to somebody every day going, it's going to be a nasty day. Don't you hate it when your spouse comes home from work and you say, hey, how was your day? And they go, it's all right. I made a choice years ago to train my mouth at any time that somebody asked me how I was doing, the same response. Awesome. How was your day? Awesome. Why? Because, first of all, it's speaking life. But Dani, I'd be lying if I said my day was awesome. Hey, you're alive? I don't know what God you serve, but he's with you if you serve the same God I serve. You know, he's with you. He's for you. I think that's awesome, right? You have people in your life that you love. You might not like them right now. There are people in your life that you love and that love you. Come on now. We live in this crazy culture that expects everything to be perfect, especially everything to be perfect and fit into the timelines that we seem to create for ourselves, and those wonderful timelines that have a tendency of stressing us out or wasting our life. I have to tell you about this quote that one of my coworkers found. It's a really, really powerful quote. It's by William Penn, and it says this: time is what we want most of, but we spend the worst. Isn't that so true? Come on, think about it. Isn't that so true? It's really what we want the most of. We want more time. However, we are the worst with how we spend our time. This is Dani Johnson. We're going to be talking about, what would you do with your life differently if you had all of a sudden an extra hour every day? Yeah, if somehow the time changed 24 hours to 25 hours and you somehow got an extra hour every single day, what would you do with that extra hour? Where would you put it strategically? What would you say is your biggest time issue? What do I mean by that? Well, let me just read you this. USA Today published a survey which showed how people perceived their time and their own busyness. Listen carefully. I know it's statistics and you probably want to go to sleep when I start mentioning statistics. I happen to like them. But 69% of the people who responded to this survey said that they were either busy or very busy. That's almost 70% of the people that responded said, I am very busy or I'm busy. And only 8% of the people said, I'm not very busy at all. So when they were asked what they have sacrificed as a result of their busyness, right? So 70%, almost 70% of the people said, I am busy or I'm very busy. Only 8% was like, I ain't that busy. I'm not sure that the procrastinators and the lazy people responded to this survey because, well, they're lazy and they procrastinate. So more than likely, and by the way, lazy procrastinators have a tendency of not reading newspapers like USA Today, and they also have a tendency of not watching the Dani Johnson Show. Because this is a show for the doer, right? This is a show for the one that's living out their life and following their purpose or finding that purpose and working with excellence and diligence. It's certainly not, Susie Shovel It In, who's just, lazy grumpy and, complaining, no. And by the way, if that is who you are, you ain't going to stay that way very long if you continue to tune in to the Dani Johnson Show every single day. I'll make sure of it. You and I are going to work together on fixing those things. Anyway, so when these very busy people were asked this question, they were asked what they have sacrificed as a direct result of their busyness. Check it out. 56% said they have sacrificed sleep. They've sacrificed sleep. 52% said recreation. They're not having fun. They are so busy with their lives, they're not having fun. I don't know how these numbers add up to 100%. Oh, because they can maybe choose other things. 51% hobbies. 44% said they've sacrificed their friends, and 30% of them said they sacrificed their family for busyness. Can you believe that? Wow. That's crazy. That 30% of the people said, I've sacrificed my family. I've traded my family for busyness instead. And half of them said, I've traded sleep for busyness. I don't have any fun. Instead, I stay busy. I'm working all the time. I'm constantly productive, so I'm not having any fun. And then hobbies, right? Because hobbies actually can be very fun. They can be relaxing. You know what I find about some hobbies is that they cause you to, they shut your brain off from everything else and you kind of focus. I don't really have a hobby. I don't. I don't think I do. I mean, I would consider a hobby for me like feeding orphans. That would be my hobby. But I used to crochet. I used to sew a lot. I don't do those things anymore. Yeah, but one thing I could almost put in, it's not a hobby. I like to play games, actually. Card games, dice games. We just recently found a new dice game. You probably should try it. But my favorite card game is Nerds. And what I notice is that when I'm playing cards, and Nerds is very intense and it's a fast game, Nerds, it makes my brain shut off for everything else because you have to totally, completely focus 100%. Otherwise, you're not going to play well, okay? But some hobbies, what they do, and I remember when I used to crochet, I used to sew, I didn't think about other things that were going on in my life. I just focused on not sewing over my index finger, which I did once. Yep, I did. My sewing machine, the needle went bam, right in the middle of my nail bed of my index finger. Bam, and there was my finger stuck in the sewing machine, bleeding all over the fabric of the dress that I was making. Yeah. Anyway, so after that experience, I chose never to think about anything while I was sewing. I have to watch my fingers and make sure they don't get underneath that needle that's going super, super fast. But anyway. So yeah, so hobbies actually can be a great way to shut off other things in your head and just, focus on one thing. Okay, so anyway, isn't this sad? Do you find that you're really busy? Do you find that you're not living out your life the way you want it to? Do you agree with what William Penn said? Such profound wisdom. Time is what we want most, but it's what we spend worst. 844-232-64. Again, that's 844-232-64. As you are watching or listening to this show and you are identifying that, yes, man, I am so busy all the time and gosh, I'm not having fun, or no, I don't have any hobbies, and wow, I've totally sacrificed my friendships and I've definitely sacrificed my family, and yeah, I only get 4 to 6 hours of sleep every night. And can I tell you what happens if you don't get enough sleep every night? You age faster. No joke. There's certain personalities that they say all the time that I only need 4 hours of sleep. I'm good. I don't need 8 hours of sleep. Now let's go ahead and look at your skin in comparison to everyone else that's your age. Because those that don't get enough sleep age faster. Literally, you're going to have puffy eyes, suitcases underneath your eyeballs. Ew. Okay? Your pores are not going to be nice and plump, but they're going to be dried out, which means that you could see the pores actually get bigger because there's not enough supple in the skin. Okay? So you actually will look older by not getting enough sleep. But when you get enough sleep, your body has a chance to recover and recirculate and replenish itself. And so people often sacrifice sleep for the busyness of their life, the busyness of their career, the busyness of making more money. And so I can't stress to you enough. It's important to live a very balanced life. By the way, I learned this one the hard way. Oh, I was going to give you the phone number, 844-200-3264. Again, that's 844-200-DANNY, 3264. Call us. If you want help, let's say, readjusting your time, learning to manage your time, figuring out how to reprioritize and solve these issues. Yeah, how do I get more fun? I got to tell you, I'm one that has to schedule fun because I don't naturally, I'm not a naturally attracted person to fun. That's not something that, like I got to wake up and I got to have fun every day. There's certain personalities that they don't have to think about having fun. They just make everything fun. They got songs going on in their head constantly, or I've got words going through my head constantly. But that fun personality, they need help managing their time to get things done and to stay focused and to be consistent versus, the people who are focused and consistent, they need to schedule time to have fun. And I'm one of those. And just so happens, about a week and a half ago, my spiritual daughter, Isa, and I, because my husband and sons were out of town, so we rented a little cabin literally 30 minutes away from our house, all right? We rented a little cabin. It was so adorable. It would have been so much fun if you were there with me, but it was old, and we're talking old. In this little town in Texas, it's an old German town, so they have these really old, 180-year-old German houses where it feels like you're outside when you're on the inside of the house because of all the stone that's on the inside of it. It's just a cool little tiny place, right? Little shoebox of a place. But we went there and it was really funny. We ran into the manager of managing the property and he says, "Did I see that you guys were from such and such?" And we said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Man, my wife and I were scratching our head. We couldn't figure out how come someone was coming from just 30 miles away to stay here." And I said, "Because if I was at home, I'd probably be organizing some closets, cleaning up some messes that my children made before they left town. I'd probably be doing some laundry and cooking up a big giant storm instead of being here to just play cards and dice and cook small little meals and just snack throughout the day. I'd probably be like working on some projects." So there's something about getting away and resting, which is what we did for 4 days, Friday, Saturday. Actually, we left Thursday night. We came home Monday morning, and we had 4 nights in this place of what? All day long playing cards. Okay, the mornings was like I set apart for my special time with my God, with the best success book ever written, and just, man, didn't have pressures, didn't have appointments, didn't have anything, just nothing, right? We didn't create an agenda of what we were going to do. It was just, let's just kind of go with the flow through this weekend, and it was 4th of July weekend, so it was perfect. Let's just go through the flow. Let's, we'll get some basic groceries and, we'll make whatever we want to make with those groceries. But all in all, sleep, play some games, go back to bed, do it all over again. There's something about that. And it's very refreshing. It is. And there's something about getting away, because then you focus on something completely different than, well, Monday morning I gotta do the laundry and I gotta get the dry cleaning and you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I need to go to the grocery store. Lists, tasks, all those things. Busyness. Sometimes it's important to unplug. I'm going to take your call right after this next break about talking about your busyness and how to fix it. This is Dani Johnson. The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First Steps to Success. Register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
Do you ever say to yourself, where'd all the time go? Right? Do you even know where your time is going? Do you even know what it is? I mean, are you running around like a chicken with your head cut off? Can you see the word picture there? Are you running around with a chicken? Come on, all that blood squirting out. Okay, like, oh gosh, the vegans just got mad at me. Get ready for the hate mail. Yes, I eat chicken. You should have seen what I made for dinner last night. Anyway, we're talking about time, and we're talking about how, wow, it can just slip away right out of the palm of our hands. It just slips through kind of like water, like trying to hold water. There it goes. It went. Oh, man, it's gone. And then pretty soon, it's not a week that passes, it's not a month that passes, but it's 10 years that just passed, and you're still not doing what you want to do. That's got to stop today. It does. It has to stop today. You can become more efficient with your time. You can learn the skill, and you can also learn the secrets of time. There literally is a method. There's like a formula to stretch time. And here's the proof. Come on, think about it. Have you ever noticed that, billionaires have been allotted only 24 hours in a day? Huh? Yeah, Bill Gates only got 24 hours in a day. Steve Jobs, that's all he got too while he was here on this planet. He only got 24 hours in a day. And that's all you get, and that's all I get. We get 24 hours in a day, but have you ever noticed that some people are much more efficient with their time? Let me give you an example. Some people get up in the morning and, they're running around like a ping pong ball, as we just heard from Jamie from Mississippi. A ping pong ball moving through the day, and it looks and goes, I didn't get anything done. I don't want you to live your life like that. I don't. Set appointments for the tasks. Follow those appointments. Don't allow anything else into those appointments, and bada boom, bada bing, you start getting those things done. So I'm taking your call live right now, 844-200-3264. Again, that's 844-200-3264. And by the way, if you got some friends or family members that you feel like it's important, they feel like they're just busy all the time, they're not having any fun, they're not spending time with family, they are wasting time all over the place, just secretly just say, hey, Dani Johnson's talking about a very important topic. I hear you say all the time that you don't have the time. Well, she's helping us today on her show stretch our time, find time, stealing time away from things that don't matter and putting it into things that actually do. So spread the news right now on Facebook. Our Facebook page is Dani Johnson Live. You can just repost the post that we put up there telling people about the show. So share that post and get on Twitter or Instagram or whatever it is that you got with your social media. Even text some people and let them know, because today actually has a potential for saving some marriages, saving some money for sure, and helping life to be so much more fulfilling, especially when we look at these statistics that 70% of the people are just too busy. They just spend all their time in busyness, and they're sacrificing fun, family, health, friends, hobbies, just leading a boring life as far as I'm concerned. Okay, I'm taking your call right now. I've got Michelle from Kansas City, Missouri. Michelle, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, Dani. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, on purpose.
That is fantastic. I am so thrilled. I'm so thrilled. Yeah, I actually, you posted this on Facebook yesterday, and, and what I had said is time seems to be going faster as each day goes by, and the reason why I made that observation is because I'm in, one of the things I do is I sell Medicare insurance to senior citizens, and that is the most common thing that I get from them is, enjoy each moment, because as you get older, time goes by faster.
It does.
And so with that, I think about that a lot. I'm reminded of that a lot when I speak to older people.
Yep.
And what I've made the decision to do is and I know that this is something that we've talked about a lot. I hear you talk about a lot, but gratitude. Yes. When I shift my focus on being grateful for what I have, shifting your focus from, instead of focusing on your lack of abundance, instead of focusing on what you have, it does something to me where when I'm practicing the attitude of gratitude, I'm a happier person, and it does strengthen my relationship, in my marriage.
Yes.
And, I don't focus on what I don't have, but I focus on what I do have. Does that make sense?
Totally. In fact, last night, this is really interesting. I've lived that way for a lot of years. I had to, because I was such a negative person. I was negative Nelly, big time, or negative nerd. I really was. It was terrible. And my mind was so consumed with constant condemning thoughts about myself, or condemning thoughts about my husband, or condemning thoughts about what my parents did to me or what the church did to me, whatever. I mean, I just had so many terrible thoughts running through my head. And one of the ways that I fixed that is I began to just focus on one good thing. And the next day I'd add another good thing. And it's kind of like this, what we call a Sprout's journal. And a Sprout is recognizing what is going right, any kind of progress, and really celebrating that, because sprouts have to be nourished and fed and celebrated, protected. And so anyway, just last night, because I love what you said. Last night, I was in the midst of cooking dinner, which was bonus time because I didn't have to. My family's out of town right now, so all I have is my daughter-in-law at home for dinner time, and I invited my spiritual daughter over, and I made one of my favorite meals I was craving. It's called chicken adobo. Well, the chicken adobo has to cook for 30 minutes in a pressure cooker, and it just kind of sits there on the stove. So everything else was already completed. We're just waiting for the chicken to get done. So then I go into my closet, and I'm going to start packing for an event that I'm doing this weekend. And right when I came back through, I had to grab something from the kitchen. I start smelling that chicken adobo, and here I just started praising my God. Lord, thank you so much for the ability to cook. Thank you, Lord God Almighty, for the smells. Thank you that my family has had this recipe for 3 generations. Thank you for the Filipino that lived next to my grandmother that gave her this recipe. I'm serious. I just kept overflowing with absolute gratitude. Thank you, Lord, for the farmers that grew the chicken. Thank you for amino brags, for us, to soy sauce substitutes, because I don't want to put GMOs in my body. Thank you for the brown rice. Thank you for my garden producing all of these green beans are going to go inside my belly. No joke. It's incredible how that just, I don't know, it just makes you feel so good. It just makes you.
And
it does.
It squeezes out any of the negativity that you might be feeling, because it seems like negativity, it's so funny because you can be getting compliments all day long. And the one thing that you're going to remember is the one negative comment you heard.
Yep, it's true. It's so. And by the way, and all that's a waste of time, because what we focus on is what flourishes. And by the way, my spiritual daughter had come over that night. She had some challenges at work that day, and she was very, very heavy. So I just turned on the gratitude. Ooh, I can't wait to eat this. Oh Lord, thank you so much for this. And I'm telling you, it took maybe 30 minutes, and all of a sudden her attitude completely shifted. She doesn't even know that happened. Because honestly, a waste of time is being sad or mad or upset or frustrated. Like you said, time runs by us very, very fast, and that's the truth. And most people spend too much time upset. They waste too much time frustrated. They waste too much time mad as a hornet and want someone to pay for it. Or they spend too much time heavy. You know what I mean? Just gloom, doom, heavy. Ew. Right? It's a waste of time. But gratitude, I think, extends the time. I completely forgot about what happened that day at work, actually. I completely forgot about anything that was going on that day. I was just, thank you, Lord, that I can cook this stuff. Okay, we're going to move on, because now I'm getting hungry. I do have 3 chicken thighs left. Stay away from my fridge. Stay away from my fridge. Okay, I've got Allison from Chicago, Illinois. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good. My question is, I recently started my own business, and I'm a single mom, and I struggle with coming from my 9-to-5 job while I'm trying to get my business going, coming home, doing my work for my business, and then when I'm spending time with my family, the callbacks are just coming in, pouring in, and I struggle with putting that away to spend the time with my family, or having the mommy guilt because I'm trying to focus on the business to get the business going. So
okay.
It's a struggle every day.
Yes, I completely understand, Allison. And let me speak into that really quickly. Number one, you must not have gotten a hold of our system, Time Secrets, yet.
No, I haven't gotten that far yet. I've done the
girlfriend.
Some of the things. I'm reading a book now, but I haven't done that one yet.
Oh, girl, this is going to be your lifesaver. I am fishing out to you right now that what is that thing, when someone's drowning, they fell off the boat and they're drowning in the water.
The life preserver.
Yeah, that'd be the life preserver. Can you see the donut? It's coming at you right now. Here it is, honey. Honey, let me tell you something. Especially as a single mom, all right? Especially as a single mom. Those babies are growing up so fast. Okay, I'm getting on the other side of this thing. I only got 2 of the 5 kids left at home. They are 16 and they are 15. They are hairy with deep voices. They are taller than both my husband and myself. Okay, they got big old giant muscles. They got the hairiest legs and thighs you've ever seen in your life. I'm telling you, what I would do to see one of them pulling up next to a tree with his little chonies down, trying to aim for some bark because he has to relieve himself. I would do anything to turn back the hands of time and take advantage of that moment. I'll answer your question when we return right after this short break.
Stay right here for more of The Dani Johnson Show.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
Helping you get a grip on your priorities and your focus. The Dani Johnson Show. Here's Dani Johnson.
Have you ever had somebody say to you, hold on to those moments because they're just going to disappear so fast? I remember when my kids were young, the older people, the ones that were in their 30s and 40s. Perspective is something, isn't it? But yeah, those people that were in their late 30s and 40s would say, just hold on, Dani, to those moments because they're going to go by so fast and you're going to wish that it didn't pass you. I'm telling you, wow, are they telling the truth? They were so telling the truth, especially now that our kids are, adults. I got 3 adult married children. How I wish we were all back at the table. How I wish, yes, Roman was sitting in the high chair throwing the food on the floor again. How I wish Micah was painting the walls next to his crib with his poopy diaper. How I wish I could go back to that. But the fact is that those times are gone. But how do we live our lives to where we are not allowing busyness to rob us from quality time with our family? Quality time, having fun, traveling and vacationing. How can we live our lives by design instead of by default? I'm taking your call live. If you've got questions concerning that, 844-200-3264. Do you feel like it's passing you by too fast and you're not accomplishing much? It's because you need to learn time secrets. You need to learn time secrets. It's so powerful. I've got Allison from Chicago that's called in. She asked that very question. She's a single mom. She has a full-time job, and she has started a business trying to get ahead financially, but how do I do it without feeling guilty? Allison, again, I had to learn it the hard way. I had a beating of my lifetime when I was 25 years old with a nervous breakdown, a heart attack at 24. I was working 100 hours a week, completely neglecting my family, and I hated my husband. We were about to be divorced, which meant I was going to be divorced for the second time. And it was because I didn't understand the power of time. I didn't understand how to get time working for me. I didn't understand the secrets that time has all rolled up in it and how to multiply my time. And I learned how to do that from somebody, and it cost me thousands of dollars to learn this particular skill set. And it took me a couple years to learn it, but it doesn't need to cost you thousands of dollars. And by the way, you're not going to figure it out on your own, Allison. Because if you could figure it out on your own, you would have done that already.
Exactly.
So, Allison,
I tried.
How long do you want to continue to try to figure it out on your own?
I'm thinking probably not very long.
I'm thinking that today is a good day to stop that strategy because it's not going to help you get ahead financially. In fact, what it will do is it will raise kids who will resent work and they will resent money because they will have felt neglected and replaced by work and money. This is why we have this whole generation that now is somewhere in their 20s who are very entitled. They feel like mom and dad should pay for their college. They feel like mom and dad should buy them a new car. They feel like mom and dad should pay for their rent. They feel like mom and dad should still be paying for their cell phone bill. They feel like mom and dad should be able to take them on a vacation even though they're 28. No joke. And the reason why they feel this way is they feel that something is to be owed to them, because chances are mom and dad sacrificed the kids, gave birth, put the kid in a daycare, let the system of daycare and school raise the child. No family time, no time around the dinner table, too many activities, nobody ever together, mom and dad always working, sometimes 1 or 2 jobs. And it was all for what? Bigger house, nicer cars. In your case, hello, I got to put food on the table for my children. I'm a single mom. So there has to be balance. There has to be priorities. And again, I learned this the hard way, Allison. Certainly don't hear this as a, wow, holier than thou. I got it all figured out. I've been practicing time secrets for 18 and a half years. On 20 hours a week, Allison, 20 hours a week, I've made millions upon millions upon millions of dollars for the last 18 and a half years on 20 hours a week. And when I found out about how to run time secrets, I was broke. I had lost everything. I was broke. So I started from zero. Not only started from zero, but I started from a major tax debt. I started from a failing company. I started from a place of losing all of my clients and having to restart again, but saying, I'm not going to sacrifice everything for money and business anymore. And so I shrunk my hours back down to 20 hours a week and became very efficient with my time. I prioritized everything. And on 20 hours a week, I tripled my income on 20 hours a week. Did you hear me? 20 hours.
That would be great.
Right? So you can learn how to do that. And by the way, with whatever that business is that you have, on 10 hours a week, you should be able to generate a great income as long as you understand how to get time working for you and how to increase skill set so that you don't waste time. So it's really important you learn how to do that. You'll find it on our website, DaniJohnson.com. It's in the product section. Time secrets.
I will check it out.
Yeah.
I just got grooming the next generation to start with my daughter. So
Oh my
we're gonna
gosh,
be working on
I'm
that too.
so proud of you, girl. These two things work beautifully together. They are seamlessly and work beautifully together. It's going to blow your mind, because that's actually going to help your daughter come into understanding of what mommy is working towards, and to where you guys will segregate time and maximize the relationship, as well as give you time to be able to build that business that you're building, which in all reality, you're building it to provide a better life for your daughter, which I think is awesome. I'm excited for you. I really am. You're going to do very, very, very well. Yeah. No more trying to figure it out on your own. There's no need to. There's wise counsel right in front of your face, and there's a way to learn the same exact skills I learned. And I have thousands, we're talking thousands and thousands of people who use that and have completely raised their income just in understanding how to manage their time differently. So I'm excited for you. You're going to have to write me and tell me your results. Did you hear me?
I sure will. Or maybe I'll run into you at a First Steps, because I'm going to get there.
Yes, that would be wise. That would be really wise. All right, God bless you, girl. Okay, well, yeah, I don't know. Come on, I want you to stop, pause, and rewind for just one moment, okay? Just for 1 minute, and just ask yourself, hey, is the life I'm living really the one I want to live? Is this what I set out to do? Where am I putting my time? Because you know what? What you feed will flourish, what you neglect will die. And so when you feed distractions, they flourish in your life. They do. They steal time away from you like a thief in the night. They steal it away from you. Come on, Facebook might be one of your biggest thieves. Seriously. Now, if you want Facebook to make you money and you're using Facebook for a business thing, then you better learn those skills, like what we taught in Social Media Empire. Okay, those are specific skill sets that'll teach you how to make Facebook make you money. But outside of that, if you're just catching up on gossip and you do that for 3 hours at night, and you do that, or do it for an hour at night before you go to bed, and then pretty soon it's like, oh no, it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm still doing this. It's got to be forming some brand new habits so that you don't live life by default. Come on, when it's all said and done, you want to be, okay, well, I spent a lot of time on social media. Really? Or a lot of time watching TV. right? And watching television that's just mindless entertainment versus something like this is actually helping you to improve your life. That's what the Dani Johnson Show is all about, you know. Every day, we're bringing you challenges, strategies, and new skills to help you improve your family, your fun, your business, your finances. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Be sure to tell a friend about the Dani Johnson Show. It just might be the key to the breakthrough they need.
So 4 years ago in July, we showed up to our first Dani Johnson event, our first Steps to Success. And we were completely desperate in every area of our life. At the time, I thought it was just because of our finances, but then I figured out pretty quickly that it was because of my lack of people skills that we were where we were. We sat in the front row. We got fast track, and we sat in the front row right in the center next to some amazing people because we were so hungry, so desperate, so broken, and I pretty much cried through the entire event, honestly. And when she did the War on Debt, which she will show you, this afternoon, I went back immediately and got it. She had just started talking. I heard a couple stories, and I was like, if they can do it, I know we can do it. So we went back and got it and listened to it on the way home in the car, because we drove from Michigan all the way to Missouri. So we listened to it in the car, and when we got home, we immediately got our papers out. We wrote down our plan, and we started applying it. And within 14 months, we paid off over $62,000 worth of debt. We never in a million years thought that was possible. There's so much that has happened in the last 4 years, and I'm the person that wants the results immediately. I don't like the process of getting there. I want to just get there. But I've learned to appreciate the process over the last 4 years and just seeing the transformation that has happened in us. Personally, we individually experienced different things, and we experienced a lot of things together. I was paying our bills. I was completely disrespectful to my husband and didn't really know how bad it actually was. And so that part of our life is still improving. I can say we're a work in progress. It takes time, and we have grown so much.
We showed up. My wife, I didn't know this at the time, but she was battling thoughts of suicide. I had no idea. I thought I was being a perfectly good husband. I did my best to serve her, be a great guy. But what she needed was somebody who would step up and be a leader in our marriage. That's not who I was. And I was totally emasculated, physically emasculated by, there was someone in our church, the pastor, and so we felt the brokenness of a church, having to leave and just hurt, and devastated. One of the biggest breakthroughs started in our marriage is when Lucy started being a wife to me. And I, as a leader, I should step up, right? Take action first, be the initiator. She did it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a completely different person. And I can tell you, our marriage has just, it's amazing, the difference between her feeling suicidal, me stepping down as a leader, to me taking the initiative and just looking her in the eyes and saying, honey, thank you for allowing me to be your leader. And she just melts every time. This is awesome. So let me just tell you this, guys. If you're struggling, or you're broke, you're wondering what your next step is, hey, just take action. Follow those notes that you just took. Take action and do it, because your story is going to be here, and people are going to be inspired by your story. So are y'all ready to take notes? All right, let's do this. Help me welcome Miss Dani Johnson, America's favorite millionaire, to the stage.
And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
Recently I've kind of seen this trend that's been happening in our country. And it actually has been said that Americans work harder than most other citizens in other nations. Now, if you just heard that statement, you're like, yeah, go America. Well, We also have a very high divorce rate. We also have, I don't know, like $14 trillion in consumer debt and over $17 trillion in government debt. So I don't know what in the world we're working on, but we're certainly not working on being financially responsible. We are certainly not working on taking care of our family relationships. We also have major causes of death, and we also have a huge part of the population that's on antidepressants. So I don't know. I don't know if this is really all that wise of being the harken word, hardest working people. I don't know if it's really producing the kind of results that we are personally looking for as a person, as a family member, as a community person, as a nation. In fact, check this survey out. Sage Survey, software survey, found that the average work week is 54 hours, and only 14% of full-time workers actually only work 40 hours or less. Did you hear me? That means that the people who are supposed to be working 40 hours a week are most of them, okay, because it's only 14% that actually only work 40 hours or less. Hello? Only 14%. So that tells us that we have 86% of the people are putting in an extra 10, 14, 20 hours a week in their work week. Wow. And where is that time coming from? Right? Where's that time coming from? So we're talking about, we're talking about how we're living our lives and how we're managing our time and whether or not this is really, really wise. Let me read you what Jamie wrote on Facebook. This is a comment that came in. He wrote, I have plenty of time. My problem is the lack of organization and follow through. I waste most of my day. It is frustrating at the end of the day when you feel like you have been busy and yet nothing has been accomplished. That's how a lot of people feel out there today. And the reason is they don't understand that they can live their life by design instead of live it by default. I didn't understand. By the time I was 24, I had a heart attack. 25, I had a nervous breakdown. But that next year after those two horrible things, I lived my life completely different. And I didn't care what fell apart. I'm serious. I was working 100 hours a week and I didn't care. I said, I'm going to work 20 hours a week. I'm a mom. I've got kids. I've got a household to take care of. I don't care if I lose my companies. I don't care if they go broke and belly up. I don't care if I'm the laughing stock of the universe. I don't care if all my customers leave. I don't care if I get smeared with a bad reputation everywhere. I don't care. The way I've been living my life is not worth it. It's not worth it. Something has to change. And guess what? It's you. You have to change the way you're living. You have to change where your priorities are. You have to change your skill set, because what you lack in skill, you have to make up with time. And your lack of skill causes mistakes, which then you have to fix. Do you understand? And or this is something that I talk to my team about all the time, especially our management team. Oftentimes, people who are ambitious will set goals that the team cannot accomplish. And they want to perform and they don't want to do good and they want to get all these things done. And they give themselves 2 days to do it, or 2 weeks to do it, or 2 months to do it. And it's completely unrealistic. So I tell my team all the time, we're going to work this in a resting way. We're going to work this in peace. And if your goals or your deadlines are that of which that are too aggressive, and if everyone's totally focused and there's still no way for that to get done, then it's time to adjust your timeline. It's time to go back and redo it. Now, it's different when, now listen to me, procrastinators just waste time, all right? And there's a lot of people that on the job, they don't do their job. They're getting distracted with other things, so then they end up working 60 hours. And that is unacceptable. And so it's about self-discipline. It's about prioritizing. What is the 3 most important things you got to get done today? And by what time will you do them? And what appointments will you set when you will do those things? That's when you become really valuable. That's where you're feeling like, I did that, I accomplished that. But when you make a list that's too long and then you allow other distracting factors to come in, this is where Jamie, who wrote that question on Facebook, or that comment on Facebook, where you feel like you've accomplished nothing. Now, several days in a row of feeling like you've accomplished nothing, where does that take you? Eventually, depression. It dings at your self-confidence every day. But what I learned to do was I learned to take tasks, put them in my appointment calendar. Okay, at 10 o'clock, I'm starting the laundry. Okay, at 11 o'clock, I'm cleaning out the cupboards. Okay, and then, or on my business day, all right, 10 o'clock, I've got a meeting with so-and-so. At 11 o'clock, I'm doing a presentation on such and such. At 12 o'clock, I'm eating. At 1 o'clock, I'm doing this, okay? So I would set these appointments in my calendar as tasks that I need to get done, because if you don't do that, set an appointment for what time you'll check email, right? Do that, and then and it's a timer. It's like for 1 hour I'll do that, or depending on how much email you have. I never set aside an hour to do email. I hate email. But you set that in your day planner, and this is the time that I have to do this. This is the time I have to do that. Get it done. It's off your list. Now you've built your confidence instead of set yourself up for failure. So I'm taking calls right now from our awesome, amazing listeners and faithful people to the Dani Johnson Show, as well as our Facebook and Twitter friends. If you haven't joined that page yet, you want to meet this awesome community. It's Dani Johnson Live. That's Dani Johnson Live. All right, so we have Veronica from California. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. Girl, what's going on with you and time? Where do you find yourself in this time thing?
I work full-time. I work in MLM, and I have 5 kids, and I feel like everything's just so chaotic because of procrastination. And you read a post the other day about fear causes procrastination, which causes failure.
Yep.
And leads to failure, and that's where I'm sitting right now. Things are just out of control, and I'm just trying to. If I could redo it again, it's like get on the schedule like you were just talking about.
Yep.
But it's also, I'm seeing it flow over into my kids, and that's what's killing me.
Yeah. Meaning your kids have picked up this new skill called procrastination?
Exactly.
What's the oldest and youngest kid?
23 and 10.
Okay. We almost have the same ages. Almost. Mine are 27 to 15. Yeah. And they do. Isn't it terrible? They don't listen to what you say all the time, but they certainly do what you do.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. They, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
See me what I'm doing.
Yeah. So yes, guess what, Mommy? Guess what? Yes, there is a reset button. There is a reset button. It's time to push it. And it's time, not tomorrow, but today. As soon as you hang up the phone with me, I want you to make a list of tasks that you're going to do today. And I don't want it to be bigger than 2, because it's the afternoon.
Okay.
2 things that you're going to get done today. If you have a cell phone and there's a calendar in there and that's how you do it, and you have reminders in there, or you can set appointments in there, set the appointments. At 3 o'clock, I'm doing this. At 4 o'clock, I'm doing this. I even have in my calendar what time to start dinner. Do you understand?
That's a big deal for us. No, I get that. I thought maybe that was a nut thing, like kind of crazy idea. Did you have to set that for me?
No. I set appointments for doing laundry. I set the appointments for packing for my next trip. I set appointments for writing out birthday cards, thank you cards, which I send over 1,000 every year. I set appointments for calling somebody. Okay, I have one of my spiritual daughters that just came back from Africa. I put an appointment to call her. I have an appointment to talk to my girlfriend Vicky, my first roommate. I put everything in my calendar with an alert telling me what time to get that thing done. Okay, but if you make a list that's too long, you're setting yourself up for failure. But if you make it, okay, I did that. Yes! You know what I mean? I did that. Yes! You know what I mean? And then, okay, wow, I've got more time. But yes, absolutely. You've got dinner prep, you got the dinner time to eat, and you got the dinner cleanup. So all of that needs to be in the schedule, and that's where you got to start. There's a reset button. Start today and start small, okay? Start small, and you can do it. Thanks so much for calling in. I've got Tiffany from Amarillo, Texas. Tiffany, welcome to the show.
Hi there. How are you?
Awesome. So what's your question concerning managing your time?
Well, I do a bunch of things. I'm a stay-at-home homeschool mom.
How many kids?
Really weird schedule.
How many kids?
We have 3. I have an 11, 8, and almost 7-year-old.
Wow.
So here's the deal. First of all, I'm so excited. I'm going to come see you in San Antonio this weekend. So, life changing. I'm ready. I'm ready to be there.
Awesome.
So, I am.
That's exciting. That's exciting.
I am in a business I've got a nutrition club. Mm-hmm. And I come here 3 days a week, an hour drive, and I bring my kids. And the problem I'm coming up with right now is trying to explain myself to all the people in this business.
Okay, hold on 1 second. We got to cut over to a real quick break. I'm going to address that issue when we continue right after this.
Stay right here for more of The Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. The most common question I get usually are from people who are trying to juggle their life. They've got kids who are involved in all kinds of activities. They've got business or their job, finances, trying to get out of debt, plus all their church activities and all the volunteer activities. And they're pulling their hair out going, how do I juggle this all? Man, I once lived just like that until I learned Time Secrets. Time Secrets showed me how to be able to cut my hours from 100 hours a week that I was working down to 20 hours a week and tripled my income as a direct result with what I learned. Time Secrets also showed me how to get my priorities in order, which healed up my marriage. And I became a mother that I was proud of versus becoming the mother I didn't want to be. And so if you feel like your world is running around in all kinds of different circles, you can fix that. Call 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880 for Time Secrets.
Now, more of the Dani Johnson Show.
I must govern the clock and not be governed by it. That's what Golda Meir says. So oftentimes, my friends, we allow outward things to totally control our lives, and maybe they're not so beneficial. But see, I choose to make appointments for everything that's in my life so I can actually get things done. I don't know that I so much agree with Golda Meir's quote there that I must govern the clock. Now, actually, I am governing the clock versus somebody else's clock governing me. Do you find yourself with so many things going on right now, right? You got kids, you got a job, or you've got business, you've got debt, you got some financial stuff. You're trying to figure out how to dream. You got to take care of your mom, because she's elderly. You know what I'm saying? We got, wait. There's dinner to cook. There's laundry to do. Wait. I got meetings at the office. I have relationships with a person I sleep with every day. How do I make it all work? Well, I had to learn the hard way about how to make things work. We're opening our lines today and helping you, giving you advice for your life here on the Dani Johnson Show. Today, specifically about how do you make it all work? I work 20 hours a week. I have 5 children. I've been in business for 25 years. I've had several companies. We have made millions of dollars in business, and we have given away millions of dollars to orphans, to the kids in the sex trade, to the elderly, all on 20 hours a week. I bet you want to know how we do that. It has to be strategic. There were some skills I had to learn. 18 and a half years ago, I had the biggest spanking of a lifetime with a nervous breakdown and a heart attack. Since then, I learned real well how to cut my hours way back and how to make more on less time. And that all takes skill. And if you are teachable and hungry, you'll learn those skills. My phone number is 844-200-DANI. Again, that's 844-200-DANI. We've got Tiffany that was held over from the last break. Okay, so Tiffany, you have 3 kids, you're a homeschooling mother, and you have a business, and you actually take your kids along with you while you're working your business. And by the way, I think that's excellent. I really do, Tiffany, because your kids are old enough to be in a business environment. We had our kids in a business environment around those ages too, so that they could learn to communicate with adults, how to act in that environment, right? So I'd have these talks. In fact, I talked about that in Grooming the Next Generation for Success. It's a book and a home study course. But in grooming, I talk about how I had to set my kids' mind and frame their brain to look at the environment in which they were in and how to act appropriately. And I would have these what we call pre-game talks and post-game talks. This is what I'm expecting. I know you can do it. And then the post-game, this is what you did and you did awesome. Next time, let's improve this. So anyway, little side help on the thing with kids and putting them in a business environment. But I'm so stoked that we did that. Our kids have grown up in a business environment and they understand entrepreneurial skills. My son at 15 bought his first house. He's a landlord. He has renters. He's on a second set of renters right now. He's now 16 and a half. He'll be 17 in September. So, you know what I mean? And all of them had saved by the time they were 18. $20,000. Some of them have been wise with that, and others of them lost it. One has lost it because he made stupid choices with it. But the bottom line is that we've taught our kids how to be investors with raising them in this environment. So, by the way, Mom, that's a homeschool class. That's part of homeschool class for your kids, which is awesome. All right, so you're saying when you have your kids with you while you're building your business, how do you explain that to your people that your clients or your prospects?
No, the people that I work with, since I'm new in the business, I need help learning it, and I feel like I have to justify to them why I'm not at everything. And if I don't justify that, I feel like they won't help me. And they
hold on, Tiffany. Have they said that to you? They say, we will not help you if you are not at everything all the time.
Well, what they say is we'll work with the people who put an effort and who show up at the training.
Oh, so you have translated that in your head that you have to be everywhere all the time?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry, honey. Honey, don't make assumptions like that. You know what assumptions do, right? You kind of have to break up the word assume, and it'll tell you exactly what assumptions do.
Don't do that.
Okay, so Tiffany, let me give you some advice. Number one, what I'm sensing is that you fear man. Number one.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. And number two, you've put your hope in the people to help you instead of you putting your hope. I don't know what God you serve. It might be Buddha. And if your God is Buddha, I would be a little worried because he's dead. But God, I don't think he can help you build your business. But I know my God can because he's still alive. Right. So, and he's the one in charge of all the businesses. And he's the one that can actually multiply your time and multiply your ability to learn quicker. Number three. It's time to have a conversation with the people you're trying to get help with, and this is what you're going to say. You're going to say, I so appreciate that you are willing to help me, and I so appreciate your patience, and I want to be here for the long haul, and I want to build a dynamic company. And the way I'm going to be here for the long haul and the way I'm going to be able to build a dynamic company is if I manage my time well now. I'm a homeschooling mother, and I'm excited to be able to build this business right alongside my children. And I also don't want to burn myself out as I have done those kinds of things in the past. So here is my commitment. These are my hours that I have set aside to work that business. And if I can get the calendar of what the events are, then I can go ahead and make adjustments in there whenever it is appropriate. But these are the hours I'm going to be able to work, and I'm going to ask you if you have the kind of leadership that you're willing to invest into me and show me what I need to know in order to move forward when I'm making this commitment of X amount of hours and these times that I can build my business.
Okay.
There you go. Can you do that?
How to get on to baking everything the Pioneer Woman bakes. That's really my goal, is to be a wannabe Pioneer Woman.
Yes.
To make all of her recipes.
And you can, as long as you learn to manage your time well and create very healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries are most important. Otherwise, Mama, you're going to burn yourself out, and then you'll end up quitting. And you will have wasted all that money, and you would have wasted all that time, and then you're going to be sad, and then you're going to lose confidence, and then you're going to be mad, and then you're going to be afraid to try something new again. So don't go down that road. Prepare in advance by managing your time, having the appropriate conversations, and no longer making assumptions. This is Dani Johnson. You're listening to the Dani Johnson Show. It's advice for your life. And no excuses, just results. That's the important thing, friend, is that you do not create excuses, but instead you produce results. And you got to do it within the right boundaries. See, that was my problem in the beginning, is I had none. So when you give yourself, for example, and I see this a lot in single people especially, And I see this a lot in ambitious people who are very ambitious that want to please somebody else. Well, when they want to do that, they then break the boundaries. They do. They violate the family boundaries. They violate the health boundaries. They violate all the boundaries. And wow, it's just not a good, healthy thing at all. Yes, it's just not. Okay, this is Dani Johnson. Thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate you, and I believe in you. And I hope that you found some help today on this show. And if you did, please write us on Facebook or on Twitter, or just come to our website. This is Dani Johnson. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you tomorrow with another awesome topic that will change your life.
You've been listening to The Dani Johnson Show. It's our belief that you can live a better, healthier, happier life. All you need is a little encouragement, a different perspective, a positive force in your life. Get that and more on the next Dani Johnson Show.